Hey, how are you doing? It is the Ocean Swagger of the Ocean's Deep Blue. And what we're talking about today is something I kind of started to mention at another point um, on another show, but that I have been likening this sort of to this journey that we're on to New Earth, kind of to what we're calling New Earth, kind of like going to an amusement park. Yeah, and you know how when you're a kid and your parents are taking you to an amusement park and you're like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And you see all the signs. And I mean, we used to go to Sandusky to Cedar Point, and um, there would be these signs, and oh yeah, that way, that way. Um, and then you'd start to see signs. Yes, park is right up ahead. Cedar Point, next right, whatever. And then eventually you'd start to see the scenery kind of change. And maybe you'd even see along the way when you got onto the grounds, maybe you'd even see glimpses through the trees of some of the rides or something. And so, what this is like, though, if you looked at the thumbnail, this is kind of like cell division. So, I'm talking about the bifurcated Earth theory, which doesn't appear to really be a theory. It does appear to be more of what is actually going on. Hi, Linda Bennett. And hi, Marilyn. Oh, no. I'm sorry, Marilyn. No power for hours. Yeah, the matrix is breaking down. It is, actually. And that's one of the things I'm talking about tonight. It's fallen down, folks. We were told that it is. And here we go. So, what does it mean? The bifurcated Earth is that there are actually going to be two versions of Earth. The old version is taken itself out, basically. The new version is bringing itself in. However, and we're helping to bring it in, actually. And it's sort of like cell division. If you look at how cells divide, and you'll see what I mean, and kind of follow me with this. I'll explain it all. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give some people a chance to find out that we're on before I start really breaking this down. Oh yeah, the matrix is breaking down. All of the old systems are breaking down. I'm going to give people a chance to find me. I managed to get the word out for, hours ago. So, seems like that helps a lot. But Jim and I made it. Yay. Jim and I were talking about some of what I'm going to talk about too. We talk on the phone, Jim and I and me. So Jim and I, we got to finish that conversation, sister. What's a good conversation? So I'm going to play the intro. So Cowboy is right next to me, and if he stays up here, I'll move the camera. But right now, I got the camera where it belongs, so I'm not going to move it. But he is up here purring away. I do want to mention before I start, remember this is just tips, tricks, and hacks for helping you play that massively multiplayer, total immersion VR holofractal learning game called Life on Planet Earth, and has absolutely nothing to do with real life, which takes place outside the Matrix. So, with that being said, we have, okay, and I was talking about this a little bit in other shows, but seriously, we've got planetary alignments going on and planetary transits. I mean, Pluto coming through the death god, coming through the chart of the US. Oh no. So, and then Mercury retrograde. Like I said, that is going to shake some things up. That's really going to tip over some apple carts. So prepare. But you'll notice it's a funny thing that those of us who have been working on ourselves for this, we're not suffering like some of the world is. I mean, there are places in the world where they're seriously, sorely suffering, and I'm sorry to say, I don't mean that they're not nice people or that, I want to see anything happen to them. But I have been told that I'm going to be taken care of every step of the way. And that if that's where your consciousness is, you will be taken care of. So, no matter what's going on around you, but people have been bringing up, and I think I brought it up. Why does it look so dark if things are getting brighter, if things are really getting better? Because I've noticed for me, things are actually getting better, in a lot of ways. It's strange, but I mean, I've lost a lot of my old fears and a lot of heaviness. I still have some of my shadow side come up to want to play. But really, my life has gotten better, easier. I'm not really, I can't say I can be exorbitant with money, but I can get by. I'm getting by. And I have enough to eat. I'm warm. I have a kitty. Yeah, I have some friends, and I have this wonderful show, and I have you people. I'm really grateful for all that. And really, for me, my health is better. I'm not as bad off as I was. I'm not feeling like death warmed over every single day. It's still iffy some days, but but it's not bad. I've noticed I was out doing shopping the other day, and Paul and I looked up into the sky and saw 3 completely normal contrails. Completely normal. Disappearing behind the plane just like they should. And no streaks. And I'm seeing that more often. So, but you hear the news or you hear what's going on TikTok. I don't have TikTok. It's a Chinese spy app. I won't have it. But if you like it and you like to be spied on, oh well, go ahead. But we're being spied on enough by Google anyway. So yeah, it looks dark. I mean, we have the doofiest president we ever. I mean, he's evil. He's not just doofy. He's actually evil, and his family is actually evil, and they're part of a a bunch of other evil people, other system, and doing things that they shouldn't really, I mean, way out of bounds. And we have been waiting for somebody to do something to these people. We're finally beginning to see some of it, right? We're finally beginning to see some people change things. I mean, the thing that Biden was trying to get passed that would have put 87,000 more auditors on the payroll, on our payroll that we're paying for with our taxes. And they wouldn't be auditing all the rich people. They'd be auditing us, taxpayer, those of us who do pay tax. But they would be auditing the taxpayers, not the big guys. So they killed that. And they managed to kill a couple other things that they were trying to do. Now they've got other stuff going on that they're trying to get passed. And if they can get Biden to pass it, things are going to be a lot better. But of course, there's a slight chance of that. And I'm not trying to be political here to rile anybody up. But come on, we know that most of the world's leadership is corrupt. I mean, it is. It just is. That's just a fact. There's nothing political really about that. That's just a bald-faced truth, isn't it? Most of the leaders right now have some kind of corruption going on. And that's just the way it is. So, yeah, and we have to see all of it. Oh, hi, James. Did James come in? I was on a roll there. Hi, James Ortiz. Yeah, I would see them like off and on, but not very often, not over my place. Right. It is, Marilyn. Yes. Oh, you did okay today, James Ortiz. I'm so happy. Yeah, James, this is great. Oh, yes. Yeah, and you're right, Marilyn. We are going to see all of it. Hello, Richard. Hey, how you doing? How you been? Um, we're going to see all of it before the end, and just like a cell divides, there is, once again, I'll call it what I call it. They call it a perforation zone. It's like cell mitosis. It is. And I made a pretty little picture for you there of it. And I have a few other little pictures I made, little pieces of art I made to show it. But, and you are here at the perforation zone. And I can see that very plainly. And now that we're seeing all of this come up, what's happening is if you look at a cell dividing, you'll notice that for a while, even at the perforation zone, where it's beginning to perforate, where we, cut on the dotted line, there's still information going back and forth between the two parts of the cell. There's still one, just barely hanging on, right? So, it goes like this, right? And then it starts to, this is where there's starting to be two different things. And then right here, and it's interesting because as I look through my fingers doing this, it becomes a lemniscati, and in between my fingers is a stargate. I just noticed that. This is the infinity symbol, and between my fingers is a Star of Bethlehem type star shape between my four fingers there. And then I thought, that's it. We're seeing this because there's still information traveling back and forth, but it's getting ready to pop. That's why I have that picture. You are here right in, what I call the pop apart point. We're going to see ever increasing contrast. And the more contrast, because we're also seeing amazing things happen and you don't hear about them enough. But we are starting to see people come out with some feasible ways of doing things. And as the corrupt systems start to fall, we'll have even more of that. But right, you're to be an observer and not become involved. That's right. Yes, I do, James. I do use a drum sometimes. I have used a drum. And someday I hope it'll have to be earlier or it'll have to be outside when I use a drum again because I have very elderly neighbors. Yes, the vibration of the drum is very healing. Either that or I'll have to record something or get a recording of a drum in order to play it. Like I said, I'm hoping to get soon a laptop so that I can have different windows and stuff so that we can have, music playing in the background and so on. For a while, I was doing it with a tablet or something, but my tablet gave up too now. My tech is going fluey, so fluey is a technical term. So really, it's going to get more contrast. There's going to be more and more contrast. So the more contrast you see. Now, isn't it weird? There's another thing that occurred to me. When all these people coming up saying they're non-binary, as the world gets more and more dichotomous, think about that. I'm non-binary. It's like we know this is actually really a binary system that we're in. This is absolutely a binary system. And I put up on our wall, I put up a video that features Greg Braden. He's talking about the same thing I am. And he's been in this business a long time. Was for a very long time the gold standard of people to speak about all this kind of thing. Him and Lipton, his friend, and he's saying that he's seeing the same thing. He's saying the same thing. And we arrived at this independent, We're going to see ever greater contrast. Literally, it's going to be the best and the worst at times. And that's really started becoming apparent when I got that both Biden and Trump would be president, that somehow mutually exclusive things can be true in this age, in this time that we're in. Because this is it's very binary right now. And if you're non-binary, so people are trying to find that middle point. They're very confused. No, I didn't change my email address. It's the same, oceandiana@gmail, just like it says right there. Yeah, your body is right now binary. Now that may change. because a lot of things have changed about our bodies. And I'm telling you right now, cats used to have a nictating membrane. Their bodies were different. Their eyes were different. Ours were too. We still have epithelial folds in the corner of our eyes. We had the third eyelid at one point, but we lost it somewhere along the line. Cats have lost theirs in my lifetime. Cats no longer have that milky membrane in their eye. And I remember that very clearly when I was younger. Before I died, in fact, it was before I died and returned. Something happened there. Yeah, I know it was there then. And when exactly it disappeared, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's when it disappeared, but I just know it changed. So yeah, you can't really be non-binary. Your physical vehicle right now cannot be non-binary. It just isn't possible. Now, as a spirit, as a soul, maybe so. As a soul, you can be anything you want. Your body, however, is your Abby is not gonna. Right now, we don't have that technology. Now, we could possibly do that if we really wanted to do it. And there is some indication that at one time, a very long time ago, we were homogenous, that we were both male and female. There's legends about that. And who knows, maybe some of these people are incarnated from that time and they just haven't quite got the memo yet. I don't know. Maybe they're remembering that. I can't say. Because sometimes I feel that way too, but I feel like I am more in the middle than a lot of people, but I didn't like dolls when I was a kid. I wanted an erector set or something, I wanted stuff that moved. I wanted to build things. And that went into art because art was acceptable for a girl to do back then. But, that if this had all happened when I was a kid, I'm things might be a lot different. But right now they're just mutilating people. And people are too dumb to even realize there was a woman who had the operation, the bottom surgery. And I mean, I saw this. Somebody brought this up. This person was not bright enough to realize. They thought they were having their menses, their first menses. But you can't, because, what they have is a wound. And what happened is somehow that wound had opened. But they didn't understand that. And this is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling that somebody would undergo this kind of thing and not even know that much about it, about the biology of being a woman. But you want to be one? Well, it's tiny. It's like vestigial. It used to go right over their eye and you'd see it all the time. And now, okay, so they still do have it, but you can't, it's very hard to see. Well, we still have it too, but it's just vestigial. It's a little fold right here in the corner of our eye. That's where it used to be. So it used to close this way. So that's a long time ago. We don't know when we lost that. So, okay, so they still have that. It's just not what they used to be. Okay, not like it used to be, because it used to be very obvious and easy to see. Yeah, I'll just be myself, you know. Um, so yeah, at some point, we changed. And there are stories about how it came to be, how we came to be men and women. Had something to do with these quote unquote gods. And every time we hear about it, it was something the gods did to us. Okay. So it wasn't always this way, but it is this way now. I mean, and you can't, you know. Now maybe if we had a high enough level, we could probably go back to that. But would you really, necessarily want to? I'm not sure. I mean, on other levels, maybe we are exactly like that. So, maybe this is what's happening. But I think most of it is just confusion because they're not taught right. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of, is we're really seeing the consequences of people not really receiving an education in reality, based in reality. And that seems to be getting worse. But at the same time, there are also people who are waking up in droves. We are seeing people wake up. So what we have to do is we have to keep track of ourselves, what we're doing, what um, how can I say this? We're responsible for our own energy at this time. We'll receive a lot of help, but we're responsible for keeping ourselves on the straight and narrow track here, heading where we want to go, planted in new earth, whatever you want to call it, fifth density, whatever you want to call it. New earth is where you want to be. The old earth is ripping itself up. Uh, and I've seen versions of old earth where it literally is ripping itself. It looks like, and maybe it's prophetic, I don't know, because I saw literally where, pieces of earth had moved up, and there were buildings, kind of just hanging on. And a lot of places were ripped up. A lot of ground was ripped up in my old neighborhood. I don't know whether that was a personal thing or whether that's some version of an old Earth future. But it kind of feels like it was maybe seeing what that's like, what that really looks like, because it was falling apart. So the last dream I had that really got me had something to do with, I had found out that my ex was going to be performing at a venue. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Am I, going to find myself, you know? But it didn't turn out to be my actual one in this life. But the guy that it turned out to be was one of these very dark magician type people that does music also. And I was like, oh no, you know. Um, so it was kind of, and I'm like, okay, I can't let him see me. I'm not going to let him see me. I'm going to duck out the back or something. And just for a moment, it had me. I could probably go up there and sing with him. And then it was like, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to connect with that, And it's like, shit, it was almost seductive for a moment. But every time I ever ask about this, should I connect with my ex? He's not a singer, by the way. Should I connect with my ex again and say bye-bye because, he's getting up in years? And I keep getting no. Don't do it. So, well, boswellia, Linda. Boswellia is supposed to be really good for sinus infection. Take care. Hi, Gemini. Again. Yeah, and Gemini noticed something or thought of something I hadn't thought of. And I'm going to put it forth here for you guys to think about. Because I've seen it too. Other people have mentioned it too. And sometimes you'll see it and it'll be on something recorded, but I see it, I've seen it live, where it looks like there is another planet near our sun. And I have taken pictures of that. I don't know if I still have all those pictures, but I've taken pictures of it quite often. Now, Gemini put forth the thought, could that be the other Earth? You know, people have said it's Nibiru, it's this, it's that, it's something else. What if it's just like a ghostly reflection of the other Earth? Just a thought, something to think about. I'd like to see what your boswellia, boswellia. I did a whole show about it last week. I told you all of the, find it about herbs. Okay. boswellia. Boswellia. You can Google it yourself. But it'd be nice if you go back and just watch the show because I read it all off to you. All that I found. So, yeah. So basically, Linda, I hope that helps you. And I'll send you some distance Reiki. Actually, I'll do it right now. I give you a little bit now. I'll think about it later and do a little more. Okay. So anybody who needs that. Okay. Okay. Sending you love, Linda. Hope it helps you. Yeah, I brought it because it's like when I read everything it did, it's like, oh, we need this in our lives. Why didn't we know this before? It's also called frankincense. So, but I'm asking you guys, because you're on top of things more than a lot of people. What do you think of this theory? Could that maybe not be Nibiru? Could that maybe be, because I think I already saw something that might have been Nibiru like years ago next to the sun, and I took a picture, but it didn't come out well. I did see a bright object next to the sun during sunset. But what we're seeing in the sky now from time to time, could that be the other Earth. And we're seeing kind of a ghost of it, a little bit of ghosting from the Matrix. I don't know. Could be. I mean, we're not sure what this is going to look like exactly. Will we be able to see the other Earth from the outside? Maybe. When the separation occurs? Or will our little reality membrane just close and that's that? Goodbye? I don't know. It could be that once we hit that pop apart point, that zone where the membrane finally gets thin enough that there is no more back and forth. Right now, there's back and forth. Reminds me of the Hopi prophecy. Remember, well, there'll be a period of time where you can go back and forth. You can go the upper or lower path, but there will be a time when that window closes and you won't be able to do that anymore. You'll just be where you are, and that'll be that. I think that might be part of this too, is you really want to be sure you're on the right side of that membrane when it closes, I think, because I don't think after a certain point there will be any more back and forth. Because I think that there is a partition. Now I know that there are partitions between realities because I've seen them, and we have torn holes in them. We've torn holes in them. That's why we're seeing, that's part of the reason why we're seeing a lot of weird stuff. Also because as the ice melts, it's going to unblock some things, and we're going to see weird stuff coming from places that were blocked off at one point. Now I know, I'm saying this like I know this. No, this is what I'm being told in my head is happening. I guess it's right. I'm hoping it's right. Usually turns out it's right if I'm understanding it correctly. This is what we call inner Earth, or beyond what some people call beyond the ice wall. There are things coming in from that because the ice is melting and the passages are unblocked. However, my sources say it's from inner Earth. That's what they're calling it. Whether that is just a way to describe it, I don't know. But then these things that came after us one time that said that they're from a place that what we would call under our Earth. Because, see, everything isn't coming from outside. There's some things that have been here all this time. And I said this like ages ago. There was a theory put forward, and when I was in college, all the way back in college, that if, for instance, there was a little lizard running around in the age of reptiles called Troodon that was developing pretty well developed. If they did not all die out, like they had a pretty large brain and some other features, kind of like us. And if Troodon did not die out and somehow got to safety, like down in the cave or into the inner Earth or whatever it is, that maybe, and another advanced civilization would do, they would be thousands of years ahead of us and could do a lot, actually. Could do quite a few things that we wouldn't be able to do and we wouldn't understand. And could that be what they're calling the pterosaurs? The the lady who says she is a lizard hybrid. She says that there are earthly ones that evolved here. They're not Dracos. They're lizards that evolved here, lizard people that evolved here. And they're not allies, but they're not against us either. They're not out to kill us or destroy us or enslave us or anything. They just keep to themselves and just don't want anything to do with us. Now, if that is true, and they are tentatively creating hybrids to see if there is any way to have any kind of communication or interaction between the two, but they're not at all sure that's going to work out. They're really not. It's experimental, is what she was saying. And this was a long time ago. This was maybe 10 years or more ago. And I haven't seen her. She friended me on Facebook, and she had a following, but I haven't heard from her in ages, so I don't know what happened to her. But if that is so, then, they'd be way ahead of us. Way ahead of us. And all of those underground tunnels and stuff. Here's an interesting thing I noticed. Stuff made by people like us looks like us. But inside the workings of the pyramids, they don't have the etchings and carvings and stuff. That's mostly in the temples. The pyramids seem to be more like a machine. And the pyramids and the Sphinx, we're not sure that they're the same age. One of them could be older than the other and built by somebody we went to see. We actually did a remote view. When the pyramids were being built, there were platforms hanging in the sky. There were floating platforms in the sky, and we could see them. And the people did not look exactly like us. Some of them did. Some of them were lizards, some of them lizardy looking. Some of them looked sort of like people, but they had kind of strange features like orange eyes. So, and there's no telling how tall they were, but they looked like they were pretty big because they were moving these things around, and it wasn't hard for them. However they were doing it, it wasn't difficult. So we know, okay, from looking at that, we know it wasn't built by slaves. As a matter of fact, I even saw some kind of a machine that seemed to be printing blocks. It would like dig up an area and then print out a block. Probably could be configured for any shape, just like printers we have now. And the only reason I could even understand what the heck it was doing was because we do have 3D printing now. So we could one day be building things the same way. And I really think that some of these buildings that we see, some of these works of art and stuff, were also 3D printed. Because why not? I mean, we're building that technology now. Why couldn't you 3D print a building? It seems to me like, It wouldn't be that hard. You just need the material and you need a mechanism to do the printing, and then you need a template of some sort. And considering how detailed some of these places were, they must have been able to do all kinds of fancy things. I mean, if you look at the Hindu temples now, you'll see that. But one of the things that we do here is that we have we had a time before these so-called gods showed up. What were we? And we've talked about this before. Well, now, if on New Earth we're going to be left to our own devices again, to evolve in our own way without interference, it'll be interesting to see how, in fact, we do evolve without the interference. Will we re-evolve back into some kind of unified form? Will we, I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities. But yeah, I think maybe some of the problems we're seeing in people's heads have something to do with maybe another life. I know that, although I gotta say, I know that some of them are just, there is a lot of, we have been warned that there's going to be a lot of mental illness. That's another thing. The last reset, all of these huge castle-like buildings that were insane asylums somehow. If the population was small, why did you need huge castle-like insane asylums? Were there that many people who were screaming crazy? I mean, to take up a building that big would be a pretty large part of the population. So, I mean, that's weird, right there. Like, why would you need a building that big as an insane asylum? Unless they were crazy as hell at the last reset. Or the opposite, the sane people were put in there. And the crazy people ruled, maybe. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the pyramid. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marilyn. So, oh, I'm sorry. You're still waiting for coffee. Hi, Michelle Cannon Free. Well, I'm still waiting to hear what you guys think about that. Do you think that this is possible? That we're seeing, that when we're seeing this other planet in the sky, maybe we're seeing some ghost of other Earth, of old Earth. Are we seeing this cell division right now? As far as I'm concerned, it's entirely possible. So I believe that I'm going to see, as far as I can tell, every card. It's so funny because last cards I did for Jason had me do a reading without getting detailed. Last reading I did was kind of scary, a little on the scary side. And I tried to not make it scary, but say, hey, Jason, be careful. Because it looks like there's some stuff going on. Actually, without going into detail, he did have somebody where he worked killed themselves, and he was there at the time. So he did not see the event, but he heard the event, and he heard all about it and was present at the time where he worked. So that did happen. But now the next very next reading I do for him, everything's happy. There aren't any bad cards in anywhere. I mean, everything's good. So there aren't any betrayals, backstabbings, deaths. It all looks like you're going, leaving sorrows behind, whatever. And I've noticed that just in general, the cards are happier, when I'm reading them for myself, they're happier. So, and it's funny because I got a fortune cookie. I used to say, oh, that's fortune cookie wisdom. That's like relying on a fortune cookie to tell you the future, that's about as reliable as a fortune cookie. So just to show me I started noticing, wait a minute, the fortune cookies were dead on after that. After I said that, the fortune cookies started being dead on what was going on. And I'm like, oh, holy crap, what did I do this time? Right? Because I knew by then already that I could influence things. And I was thinking to myself, did I influence this by saying that? You know, probably yes. I mean, I may have just jumped to the reality where fortune cookies could be true. So, recently got a fortune cookie, said, your struggles are over. And oddly enough, I am not really struggling with things I used to. I am handling them better than I used to. I'm finally getting over my fear of certain things that I've had most of my life. Like now I just got to get my body to come online with it. Like I I'm not sure why, but inspections would drive me completely nuts. I'd get so worried about them. I feel invaded. Um, and my body would react horribly, and usually with sending me to the bathroom a lot, my stomach, I would get irritable bowel and, have other symptoms and just, and I did all kinds of things to try to get over this. Well, I am getting over it. I mean, mentally and emotionally, on the surface anyway, I'm better. I know intellectually I'm going to be okay. They're not, nothing bad's going to happen. I'm going to pass and all that. And I know that, but my stomach, my gut still reacts. And Sunday, we're going to talk about the brain, heart, gut information. So somehow my gut still needs to get in line with the new energies. So it's the last thing to come into alignment. My heart feels fine. My head is doing okay. My gut is not quite on board yet with everything. I have a feeling because it's the most physical of the three. It's concerned with your physical reality. And it's probably the one that got the biggest damage. As a matter of fact, I had somebody tell me that I had gotten rid of I had actually deleted my first chakra, my base chakra. And my second one had some damage too. And well, there were a lot of things going on that could have caused that. But you can actually delete your chakras or have them deleted by something. Yeah. Oh, Michelle, much love to you too. Yeah. Yeah, Jason, he said well, that's part of the reason we hadn't heard from him in a while. It took him a while after it happened. He was, I guess that's part of the reason we haven't heard from him much. For a while, he had to kind of get over that. Um, I think I would have problems too, because the guy had directly interacted with Jason, and he couldn't hear very well. He'd been around the machinery too long. He'd lost his hearing. He couldn't talk, and he was making motions, pulling on his collar, looking at Jason, pulling on his collar, and like waving goodbye or something just before it happened. And Jason was like, "What are you trying to tell me?" Well, and then he goes back into a part that nobody go, a deserted area, and kills himself is what happened. And then his wife was there, and you hear her screaming. So, yeah, that was pretty bad. That would shake me up too. I think I would have some problems with that. Hi, Witch Moon, how you doing? So, yeah, bad times for some people. Some people are going to be leaving for various reasons. And not illness. Some of them are just going to take themselves out, for whatever reason. Kind of sad that it got that bad for somebody. But as I look at, this is another sign that things are going in a different direction now. It's almost like people have been, even though they know things are screwed up, they haven't really had shown their reaction very much. The thing that really looked like another ding, 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 ding. Hello, things are changing. Is some of you may have heard they put basically he's a dude, he's a full-on dude playing woman. He's an actor playing woman, Dylan Mulvaney. He's an actor playing a girl. 365 days of being a girl. He got invited to the freaking White House for that shit, right? Why? He is the flakiest flake I have ever seen. I mean, he can't even dance, and you see him behave. He's like a hyperactive child, really. And then he's just so, tell you the truth, he's a cliche now. He is a walking cliche of a female. What he thinks a woman is. And it's not flattering. It's nothing like us, really. I mean, and he goes, "And how did I do?" And it's like awful. It's nothing like my life. I don't know where you're getting this idea that this is what being a girl is like. It's almost like he read it in a book or something. He read a comic book or watched a soap opera or saw a movie or something and then thought it was real. But obviously he has no idea what it's like to be a girl. But somehow he's got a lot of people snowed. But he's still all, guy underneath it all. He hasn't had any, surgery or anything. So I think this is just a bunch of baloney, him being an actor. And Drew Barrymore ends up getting down on her knees in front of him. I think she's an actress. So, I'm thinking this whole thing is probably an act. But they put him on a Bud Light can and pretty much killed the whole Budweiser name. Absolutely nobody's buying this beer anymore. And that gives me hope, because what do I always say? Vote with your money. Because if you vote with your money, then they'll hear you, because that's what they hear. If you say, you know what, this isn't good for people, this is ridiculous, I don't like it, it just goes right by them. If you stop buying stuff, then they notice. Now, unfortunately, there are some people employed for them that are going to lose their jobs and will not be able to provide for their families because of this idiocy. And that is sad. But, there are a lot of jobs open that other people left for various reasons. I would say it's time to make a move. If you work for Anheuser-Busch, because there are people talking about boycotting all their products, which is quite a few. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh, finally you're speaking up now. You're talking with your money. And I hope that this sends a message. Most of us do not want this kind of thing. It's like, it's okay to be who you want to be, to live your life the way you want to live it. But this guy is literally making fun of women, I feel. I don't feel represented. And the fact that we've got all of these guys taking women's trophies in sports. Now, I don't give a fig about sports. I never have. But I've got to say that, what is her name? Riley? She's carrying the standard for what's got to happen. They've got to stand up and complain. Like I said, back in my day, we stood up for everybody's rights. Now most of us can't stand up anymore very long without our backs killing us, or our knees, or whatever. And we got to sit down, and the young people got to stand up now for themselves. But I see that they are doing that, and this is really making me happy, because they need to do that. I mean, they need to learn how to stand up for themselves. I mean, I remember telling somebody one time when I was standing up for myself, we got into an argument, and she said about something. She would not make her kids sit down on the bus and belt them in, because they were just doing all kinds of very dangerous things. Not, and I had already seen somebody almost get killed, a kid. If grandma hadn't caught him, he would have ended up smashed into the window. And I told this woman, I said, you better, belt your kids in and make them sit. You're in a moving vehicle. Things can happen, bad things. And she said, well, my mother taught me to stand up for myself. And I said, oh, well, that must have been nice. My mother taught me to be a complete doormat. I had to teach myself to stand up for myself. Maybe I'm not really good at it, but I am trying. So please, I'm saying this not just to please me, but I do know, if I would see something terrible happen to your children, I would not soon get over that. That would hurt me for quite a long time. That would hurt my mind. And I know it would hurt you too for a very long time. You would probably not get over that very soon. That's the only reason I'm saying this. Not to make an argument with you, but it's like there are people that just don't freaking know how to adult. They don't know how to adult. They don't know how to do that thing. They don't have that function down. Hey, drum stud, how you doing? So, another thing that happened, this is kind of funny. Um, Somebody who used to show up here, who doesn't anymore, uh, also has a channel and has been very paranoid to show themselves. But sent me a couple pictures. The person's not bad looking. The pictures, but then a video comes on something about if you say that you're just for entertainment purposes only, you can't be a legitimate researcher. And I just I just commented, oh, sure we can, because, and most people get it, why we have to do that. We have to make a disclaimer. So, but, everybody gets to make up their own choice. How serious of a researcher you are, that kind of thing. And then I unsubscribed. But he was right to not. The last few things that this person posted were absolutely just babble nonsense. Complete nonsense. I mean, complete nonsense. And I just, okay, I don't have time for this anymore. And it's so weird because he'll make comments on, in chat. He comes off so good. He comes off as these very deep thoughts, but apparently he has episodes. So, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if that was aimed at me or somebody else, I'm not sure. But the truth is, we are in a situation where if we want to keep our channels, one of the ways you do that is by saying entertainment purposes only. And I have my own charming way of saying it. And I try to do that every single show because sometimes we do talk about how to heal yourself, how to take care of things, and say things about what's going on in the world. And people have gotten threats when they've been too serious about it, which is why I use a lot of humor. I mean, I make jokes a lot, say silly things sometimes. Don't take any life too seriously right now. Seriously is not good right now. If you do, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And taking it too personally, a lot of things are happening to everybody. There are crazy things happening to everybody. I still have crazy things happen to me, like a charge that shouldn't be there. But, I find that this is the interesting thing. Used to be that there was some struggle to get some of this stuff off of my card or whatever. I'm not finding that happens anymore. The last few things that I've had, all I've had to do is make a call and boom, it's over. It's fixed. No more struggling. I had to take some stuff back to the store last time. Smooth as silk, no problems. Absolutely nothing. Got it all done very quick. I'm noticing that. It's just that kind of thing is getting so much easier. There's some things, I mean, things are still getting screwed up, but fixing them is getting to be a breeze. Has anybody else noticed that? Oh, you saw 1111. I've been seeing 555. And 555 is an angel number that means big changes, really big changes. And that is, in fact, what's happening. I've been seeing 444 and 555 a lot. That's one of them is about your ascended masters are with you, and the other one is your angels are trying to tell you that big changes are in store, and not bad ones. Just some of them can be kind of jarring. 5 is change, a number I associate with change. 4 is a number I associate with a foundation of a house. It's a foundation number. It's a stable structure. Um, so 444 is, you know, you're going to be okay. Your house is not going to shake. Okay. That kind of thing. And I've been told we're going to be taken care of. I am definitely going to be taken care of every step of the way through this. You're going to be too, if you just ask for it and just keep your mind on that, and don't let yourself be drawn away by all of the crap that comes up, because we're getting very close to winning. I mean, when things are looking this turbulent, you're getting very close to winning. You're getting very close to that point when it all breaks open and it's just goes poof, you know. But there's going to be probably a space of years where we're going to be dealing with this still a little bit. There's a little bit of time yet that we're going to be dealing with the fallout from all of this. It's going to be like 2.5 years of stuff coming to the surface, and then after that, we're going to have to deal with all of the things that happen because of that. And of course, there was a big orb leading up to it, and there's going to be a big orb after it of time that we're going to be still dealing with those energies. So just a heads up about that. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about tonight. Was we're really getting close now. I mean, if anybody else has seen, and it sounds like Linda has been seeing for a while now, no chemtrails. Let's find out, is there anybody here who wants, oh, did Mary Wins come in? I didn't see Mary. Mary, I don't see you. Hi, Mary. Why don't I see Mary? StreamYard, you're pissing me off. Oh, that pisses me off. I did not in any way do anything to you, Mary, by the way. If I didn't in any way block you or anything. Gosh, I hope it's not the same kind of thing as happened to me over at Hawkeye's place, where I can't talk to anybody, I can't be seen. Hope it's not that kind of thing, because they can't fix it because they didn't do it. They can't figure out why it happened. Oh, Drumstud is Mary. Oh, I keep forgetting. Oh, that's right. Your boyfriend's account or something. Okay. I keep forgetting. And then, because sometimes I'll say Drumstud and they'll say, no, this is Drumstud. It's like, let me know. who you are so I can say hi. Just confuse the heck out of me. Why don't you? Oh dear. Cowboy, your hair's up my nose again. See what you do to your mommy. It's so cute. He put his paw on my face. I think it was today or yesterday. And I gotta tell you, when a cat does that, um, it means they love you. And it was the first time he did it. He reached over very gently, twice he did it, put a paw on my face as I was waking up. He had his face right next to my face, and he reached his little, and he was looking in my eyes, and he reached his paw over and put it on my face like, "Morning, Mom, morning." And it was so cute. It was so sweet. It was like, "Morning, Mom. I'm so glad to see you're awake." And then he kind of settled in and cuddled up a little more to preparing to be petted, you know. Um, so of course he's a rescue, and but we're going through some firsts. Like he's finally gotten to the point where he can be like right up in my face. For a long time he couldn't do that. He couldn't. He was a little standoffish still, very into being affectionate, but and now he just we finally broke through some kind of thing here where he's um where he's fine with being right, having his face right close to my face and just touching my face. So and saying, "Hi, Mom. Good morning." So he's a dear little boy. Although I've got to be careful because he has a very strong hunting impulse, and I have a magnetic cord to my phone, like I have the magnetic charging stuff installed, and you can just pull it off. Well, he likes to play with the cord and just pull my cord off, and if he does, then it doesn't charge up, and then I have no charge on my phone. But he thinks he's playing with something, and here he's unplugging my phone, and I keep telling him that is not good for you. You could hurt yourself that um, I am reminded to tell you all, don't forget, most everything you're concerning yourself with, you have a choice. Somehow, if you want things to work out a certain way, you must somehow convince yourself that that's what's going to happen, and decide that that's what's going to happen. Be very definite about it. That's the practice that we're supposed to follow, is to be able to manifest things to go the way we want. I mean, that's what I did with everything recently. Is okay, I'm taking these back, and everything's going to go back, and it's going to be fine. Everything went back except one thing, which I didn't know that it was a rule that you couldn't take that one thing back. They just can't. Um, Other than that, everything went fine. And oh, you did? I didn't see it, Mary. If you did tell me, I missed that. StreamYard skips things too sometimes. It drives me nuts. John complains of the same thing over at his channel. Oh well, at least it makes it possible for people to stream. And it's fairly easy. But yeah, there's some things about it that drive me up a wall. Been working on my jewelry. I actually have a chain I made, handmade chain, that's sort of goes on and off like a bangle bracelet. It's silver plated silver plated copper with a tarnish proof coating over it. And it comes in different colors. And I love this stuff. It's beautiful, and also it's copper. It's got a core of copper. And I'm going to be making more of this kind of thing. So if you're interested, let me know. I'm definitely going to make more of it. Lady Spellbreaker is in. Lady Spellbreaker, I didn't get your your link somehow did not show up. I couldn't find it in chat. When I went to look, I didn't see it there. There's a link to your channel. Oh, link to your channel. I mean, if you have, if you can come on to MeWe and get into our group, which is Galactic Woo Crew on MeWe.com, I have got to get a website together. I know that. Does anybody know, is anybody good with that? Anybody want to help with a website? I used to actually build websites, and I've forgotten every damn thing I know about it, pretty much. Yeah, moderator needs to post Lady's link. What moderators do we have left here right now? Do I need to knight some more mods? Maybe I do. Are there any mods left? You know what? Linda would be able to do it, and I know because she's one of my oldest mods. Well, most long-term, I shouldn't say it that way. One of my most long-term mods. Richard is another one. And Marilyn, I believe Marilyn is a mod too, isn't she? I cannot see you from here on StreamYard that you're all in black. None of them are colorful. I don't know what the heck. That's the thing that is going a little nuts. YouTube for me has gone bonkers. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like it's supposed to half the time. I finally gave in and got the premium, and then things really got even weirder. I have the premium YouTube now for 3 months. And then because you get 3 months free, well, you know what? I'm going to download everything I want to download off of my own channel. And then I don't know that it's going to last much longer than that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to make some more mods because some of you would be fine for that. I'm thinking. So you can post stuff. Yeah, that annoys me. Is it just like your name, Lady Spellbreaker 1313? Because maybe I can just find it that way. Maybe we can just find it that way. Anyway, when do you usually have your shows? When are you usually on, Lady Spellbreaker? So that we can look for you. And there is such a long delay to get answers from people here. By the time it goes to StreamYard and back. Yeah, my little kitty's going purr, 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 purr. You want people to see you? There he is. Mr. Wonderful. Star of the show. Purr, 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 purr. He's just purring his head off. Okay, it's 7 p.m. What time zone? Okay, so Lady Spellbreaker's going to be on at 7 p.m. Sunday, and is it Eastern or what? Yeah, an eclipse is coming up. Well, take your boswellia, Pam Smith. Hi, Pam Smith. Oh, okay. So you're not gonna be on that often. You don't have a you don't have a weekly time or something. Okay. Cause see, I'm here Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays at 10:10 usually. But I'm thinking of moving it up to 8 because in our Eastern, because it's beautiful out. It's getting beautiful out, and I'd kind of like to be outs uh, be outside. You can't use MeWe. I need a freaking website. Okay, I need to manifest somebody who can help me do a website, or I need to manifest a website that's so easy I can even do it, because it's been years since I've tried to make a website, and I actually have a website that doesn't work very well. It's probably going to have to be free or cheap at this point, but I know there are a few like that. See if I can get the camera straight again now after showing off Mr. Wonderful here. Okay, yeah, I need a real website. Oh, Central Time. Yeah, I'd like to be doing some shows outside. We've got a nice patio out there. I could be doing some shows from outside. We've also got some nice scenery. We always have these beautiful dramatic sunsets. Some of you have seen the photos that I've done of our beautiful sunsets. I live in a beautiful area. I really do. I'm very grateful for it. I mean, I go out there and the sky, I will say, show me something beautiful. And the clouds and everything and the light will just arrange itself and it'll be so pretty. And I'll just sit there and wonder and awe at how pretty it is here. So I do actually live in a beautiful area. Beautiful. Um, I may have a clue, though, as to what happened in Ohio to make Ohio such a really freaking weird place. Because I have been asking the universe, show me what happened. Why is Ohio so weird? Is there a reason for it? Is it just nothing's really that random as we think, right? And oh, geez, that's going to be fun, Pam. And Lady Spellbreaker, that sounds awesome that you're doing that. And I used to take Tai Chi. I'm kind of thinking of doing it again. I'm also thinking about upgrading my physical Avi. So, and my skills. So, yeah, I used to spot a self-defense class. Back when I was doing that, I was spotting a self-defense class for underprivileged children. And so I learned a lot of stuff back then, but I haven't really kept with it for a few years. Yeah, the weird Ohio thing. Yeah, the Ohio thing. Um, People have alluded to it, but I haven't been able to pin it down yet. Apparently, there are some legends coming from the Native American community that the the gods, the star people, that they thought of them differently, but the star people and the people who came from the sky and all of this, that they had wars, and a particularly bloody one here in Ohio, and that would cause a resonance anytime something particularly violent, bloody, um, horrifying, lots of energy, lots of emotional energy released. It records on the surroundings. And apparently, there were some very bloody battles here in Ohio, which would give it the tendency to have um, phenomena. Oh, you open the MeWe app, and then when it says you want to join up MeWe, blah, 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 premium, just click no thanks or whatever it says, not today or whatever. Uh, and then you punch in Galactic Woo Crew in search. And then when that comes up, you just go in there and there's a couple of questions just to make sure you're not a bot. And then that's all there is to that. And then you'll see we have a wall for posting things, and we do have a chat room there where you can chat if you'd like. So if you guys are like wanting to chat each other, I mean, we do have a chat room in MeWe that you can chat each other all freaking night if you want. It doesn't cost anything. Yeah, the natives fought the natives, but I guess this was the so-called Anunnaki, the star people, fighting battles in this area. Yeah, well, the Native Americans fighting many bloody battles is enough to do some things. But I guess it goes farther back than that, even farther back than just the native people doing it. I guess these were the kind of wars this was ancient Star Wars type stuff that happened here. So, and yeah, there are other areas where it's pretty weird. I mean, Rhode Island has a lot of phenomena. I mean, there's lots of places that have phenomena. Louisiana, huge. Um, Various places. But Ohio seems to have a bumper crop of weird, okay? And I mean every kind, every single kind. And we do have the serpent mounds down there. And if you know anything about the mound builders, they were giants. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a lot. Yeah, there were some tribes that were pretty awful to each other, and it was the same in Africa. Africans were enslaving each other, killing each other, and enslaving each other, selling each other off. Yep, that happened everywhere, apparently. It wasn't just one place, but Ohio, for being not that huge of a state, it's not really a huge state. And they call Ohio the heart of it all. That means something too. Mm. Green tea with a shot of ginger. Mm. Okay. Black crow. Vicious, yeah. Well, the Cherokee weren't, I don't believe, I haven't heard very many stories of them being, they certainly weren't perfect people at all by any means, but they weren't nearly as vicious as some. My great grandmother was Native American, Emma Whitehorse. Ohio, the heart of unemployment. That's about right, too. When I graduated, it was dismal. It was pretty dismal. When I graduated college, it was bad. And yeah, I remember for a long time my father had it kind of off and on jobs. Um, it was, yeah, there were some hard times when I was growing up. Yeah, my dad didn't always have employment. It could be really hard to get a job. He took some jobs that he was certainly not suited for just to get by. And when I got out of college, there also weren't very many jobs. A lot of us ended up having to take jobs beneath our training for a while. Yeah. Yeah, originally called Cree. Well, yeah. See, my parents were actually had a pretty good living. Then they shut down the factory. A lot of these places were dependent on factories. In Akron, one of the main industries was Quaker Oats. And when they shut down Quaker Oats, a lot of people got poor all of a sudden. What? You want to have your little say? He's meow. I'll put you on camera if you're not careful, cowboy. Yeah, well, I'm in Kent, Ohio. I'm right here in Kent, Ohio, which is in the northeast of Ohio. Not really that far from the middle, though. I mean, let's see. It's about 6 hours to like Cincinnati, and by the time you get to Cincinnati, you're almost out of Ohio again. And yeah, we frequently would travel. Heck, when I was doing singing telegrams, I'd travel out of Ohio. I'd go to Pennsylvania sometimes to do them. It was only a few hours, depending on what they're paying. Oh, the Sisterhood of the Shields. Now that's interesting because somebody looked at me one time and said, "You're a shield maiden." And I said, "A shield maiden. Yeah, you're a shield maiden, all right." And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then something happened and I never heard any more about that. But I've had a lot of people tell me things in passing that later on I found out what that meant. But yeah, I did have somebody say, "You're actually a shield maiden." Maybe that's where it happened. Ah, we have some stuff to talk about then. Yeah, because he says, "No, you're not a typical woman. You're a shield maiden. That's what you are." And I'm like, really? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that sounds like it could be, but yeah, never found out any more about that. Maybe you can tell me about that. No, maybe a maiden crone, yes, or a shield crone. Yeah, I'm a crone now too. I am now a grandmother. I have undergone menopause, and I am now a grandmother. I am grandmother Ocean now. So, yeah, I'll have to look into this. You were born you mean a hearse in the parking lot of a bar on the way to the hospital 6 weeks early in breach. Pam? Well, you decided to. Whoa, that's certainly a spectacular entrance, Pam. With the cord around your neck. You know what? My ex-husband, he was born with the cord around his neck. He was a blue baby. Were you a blue baby? Mhm. Oh, yeah, and I'm December 9th. Mhm. That's right, you're another Sagittarius. Actually, you're an Ophiuchus in the new way of looking at it. You're an Ophiuchus in the New Age astrology. Or a Serpentarius is another way to say it. Yep, you're an Ophiuchus, and you know, if you told me years ago that my birth sign was going to change in my lifetime, I would have laughed. I used to be just a Sagittarius, but now I'm an Ophiuchus. Now, my mother, she was a preemie, and she almost didn't make it too. She, if it hadn't been for my great grandmother being a native midwife, um, probably mom wouldn't have made it. So Emma Whitehorse was a midwife. Most native women were midwives at that time, I guess. Yeah, when I read about it, I'm there like, wow, no wonder I had such a tumultuous life. I had to be prepared for being an Ophiuchus because there's a lot that goes with that. So, yeah, Ophiuchus come in, they got a special purpose and they know it. I'm convinced of that. All of the Ophiuchus, they come in, they know they have a purpose. Right. My email is oceandiana@gmail.com. It's right there under my name, Lynn Andrews. Mhm. D is actually for Diane. What are you talking about? Okay, there is another sign besides the standard 12 during the new when things flipped over into Aquarius. Now the 13th sign has resumed, which is Ophiuchus. There was originally, I guess, a 13th sign of the zodiac, and uh, I only understand so much about it. I looked it up at one point, but well, if you don't yet, we got to get you on that. We got to get you onto it because you won't really be happy unless you're on it, unless you're on purpose. You really, an Ophiuchus is not a happy person unless they're living their purpose. Of course, I think that could be said of most people, but it goes double for Ophiuchus. Because they're intense. Okay, Eh, all all I can say is they've got intense feelings. They've got a lot of the qualities of both the Scorpio. I can see qualities of both the Scorpio and the Sagittarius in the Ophiuchus sign. Oh, cool, Lady Spellbreaker. We got to talk because I'd like to see that. I'd like to experience that. Maybe we can do it some kind of a deal. I'd like that. Attention, attention. Drum stud is Mary Wins. Using drum stud's device. There is no cause for alarm. Oh, I'm sure you have a greater purpose than that, though. Even beyond that. And maybe it's not exactly greater, but it's more wide reaching. Ah, yes, it is midnight. We've been on nearly 2 hours. And I try to keep it very close to 2 hours. Oh, your oldest turned 33 yesterday. That's a master number. Numerology, I'm telling you. Numerology and gematria, there's a lot to it. Numbers are the language of the universe. Kind of wish I was better with them. That's not the kind of geek I am. I am kind of a geek, but I mean, I know a lot of stuff, you know, and I'm learned and I keep learning constantly. You know what? If you haven't figured it out already, like I said, I remember what I came here knowing was We are from a place that's like a university type place. This matrix is a learning game. It's the way people go to school, where we come from. And you don't have to believe me. This is just what I remember. And you come in on a certain day in a certain place because the coordinates numerically correspond with something. So there's all kinds of correspondences. And heck, they've even found it takes somebody better at explaining than me to explain how this happens, but they found in 3 different languages a code in our DNA that literally says that we are God in the flesh. So I'm not kidding when I say you are divine. And I mean, this is, it's like it's been signed. God in eternal in the flesh, God eternal in the flesh. Something like that. And it says it in 3 different languages. It corresponds to 3 different languages. I believe he said Aramaic, Sanskrit, and one other. Probably Hebrew because they all are from the same root. But yeah, that was Greg Braden. I'll see if I believe that was Greg Braden talking about that. He says, yes, they've actually found it. A signature. Our Abbeys are signed by a creator. Dig that. Ooh. That sounds interesting. So next April 8th is total. Oh my gosh, April 8th was my mother's birthday. Hi, Mom. She showed up. And you'll be 44. Wow. Oh, well, yeah. Sending love back to you too, Mary Wins. Yeah, I have trouble with my auto screw up does a lot of damage, let me tell you that. Technology, yeah. Wish I was better at numbers and wish I had a little bit more of the techno mage in me. Wrap machinery around my little finger. Okay, well, we'll just make sure that you're okay. Stick with us. Wow. Yeah. Hmm. Boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm hearing and I'm getting that there's a lot of astrological stuff and astronomical things going on right now. It's pretty mind blowing. And I can't keep up entirely with it. I know something about astrology. I'm not an in-depth astrologer. I leave that to other people, but I know enough to be able to look at a chart and have some idea what it means. So it's not just Greek to me, you know. Yeah. Well, tell you the truth, as far as I can tell, that's good because the Christ that's coming is us, is in us. And that's the message I am always getting, is that the Christ is in us. It is inside of us. That's what's coming. Will it personify as a person? I'm not sure. Or will it personify as us acting as one person in a unified way? Right, we're getting ready for Mercury to go retrograde again. And if you're not sure what that's all about, I do have a video explaining Mercury retrograde that I'm told is pretty darn good, pretty darn clear. So, oh, 420. Ah, there you go. That's going to be an interesting day. All the hippies, it's going to be their national day, National Hippie Day. Now, yeah, I've heard that term, hybrid eclipse. Hybrid eclipse. See, Aries is my rising sign, so this should be a really freaking interesting eclipse and very freaking interesting retrograde. I mean, I gotta look this one up because it's, yeah, you know what? In fact, Lady Spellbreaker, I think I need my astrology done before that so that I'm prepared. Honestly, sweetheart, I think I think so. You know what? I don't hate retrograde. I have learned how to use retrograde. I have learned how to roll with it. And you can do it because I was told long ago it wasn't meant to hurt us. None of this was ever meant to hurt us. Neither was Mercury retrograde. If you realize what is going on during a Mercury retrograde, you can surf it and you can use it to your advantage while everybody else is screwed up. You know, all of these people who don't know what's going on, they're going to be all screwed up. You can use that to your advantage if you are not screwed up by it. You first of all, you got to realize, yeah, you got to realize it just doesn't act like it normally acts. Everything having to do with Mercury does not act like it would normally act. That's all it means. It's almost like we're in a different reality during that time, a little bit different kind of reality. Everything to do with money, communications, um, education even falls under their communication, everything like that. I've come to figure there's going to be some technical stuff. However, since I have been nice to Mercury and saying, hey, yeah, like to watch you dance, you know, and being more positive about it and deciding that it's going to be a positive time for me. Remember, I told you a lot of stuff that happens You have a choice. You can choose as a divine creator, which you are, you can choose to make it a good time for you, to make it different. And sometimes it takes a little practice. It took me a few years practice to get it down, but now Mercury retrograde usually gives me things, usually brings me things. For one thing, if you have anything that you need to take back, it's a great time to return things. Anything that starts with RE, return, renew, whatever, regarding whatever. I have, yeah, regarding like who's afraid of the retrograde? Not me. Um, Now, I'm not saying that nothing happens. I'm just saying that it's not a fearful thing. It doesn't give me the trouble that it gives other people anymore. It will be intense. Yes. I am not saying nothing will happen. I'm just saying you can learn to use it to your advantage. It is possible. Believe me, I was subject to all of the same stuff that, you know, everybody else was subject to for a long time until I got it in my head. This is not going to be bad for me. This is not necessarily a bad time because I also noticed that if I had a class or something planned, it would the effects would be much deeper and stronger and more intense during these times. So the spiritual aspects of all that Mercury stands for are highlighted at this time. So what you've got to do is get your head out of the physical side of Mercury entirely and into the spiritual side of Mercury. Okay? If you can wrap your head around the spiritual aspects of Mercury, you'll be fine. You'll be okay. You'll be able to get through it with a lot less grief and maybe even get some good stuff out of it. And the way you do that is, first of all, deciding that it's going to be that way for you because you're a divine creator and you can do that. And the other way that you do that is just thinking of Mercury, realizing that this is not meant to harm us. It was actually meant to help us. And I think probably what it's supposed to do is get you the freak out of your routine with those aspects and force you more or less to think of it in a more spiritual way. That's what it does, because when the physical aspects aren't working, aren't going right, kind of forces you to look at it a different way. So it wasn't supposed to be bad. And maybe the reason your fibromyalgia flares up and everything is maybe a resistance to it. Because if you have a resistance to anything, it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. Like I remember I would play my drum at different places, and some people would say, "Oh, the beautiful drum music. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. That just makes me so happy, makes me so calm." Other people would be walking around going, "Oh, drums, it gives me a headache. I'm getting a migraine." If you get a migraine from, the drums, there's some kind of blockage, because blockages come with pain. So, and hey, I have fibro too. I'm there too. I have had to deal with it a long time. I had it all the way back, although they didn't know what it was. I had it all the way back in college. and didn't know. So what it was. So you just sleep through it. Uh-huh. I'm sorry, Pam. You could try boswellia for that too. But if you have a migraine, you have something blocked. You have some kind of a pathway blocked. See, a migraine comes from a pinch, literally a pinched nerve. Something is swelling and pinching on your nerve. The drum stud disclaimer. Drum stud has not had a sex change. Drum stud is merely an account that is being used. And you know what? Isn't that interesting? Because our avies, I suspect that our avies are very much like having an account. Your Earth account, and you're given this avi, this Earth avi. It's tied to your account. You know? Spring dew. Pam Smith thinks Earth is prison planet. Well, I think of it more as a farm. Mohawk. Oh, I had a mohawk for a while. Right. Mercury rules communication and Pluto rules the underworld. Mercury also has a lot to do with money and travel. Physical motion, but on a spiritual basis, it's different. Yeah, I shaved the sides of my head myself. Yes, Lady Spellbreaker, redo, reconsider, rehash, return, remember exactly. Yeah, exactly. You know what? I haven't had an actual migraine, not an actual migraine in a long time. Really long time. I used to get them. I haven't had one in a long time. I must have done enough work on myself that I got rid of all the blockages that were causing it. Yeah. Well, my dad got them. I got a lot of things from my dad. He had prophetic dreams too. I got a lot of things from him. I love this copper bracelet I made myself. My gosh. If you guys are ever wanting a nice copper bracelet, let me know. They're not going to be cheap because they're a lot of work, but this is a freaking nice, very comfortable bracelet made of silver plated copper. It feels really good. I mean, the energy of it has angelite and um, three of the evil eye beads. in a aqua sort of a color, aqua blue, and angelite, and 2 little star beads, star glass beads. But yeah, this is this I can't get over it. My eyes keep going to it, and it feels good on my wrist. It's just like, oh yeah, that feels good. Yeah, I know. That lovely spell check again. Oh no. Trigeminal neuralgia. Oh god. Yeah, we need well, you need to get him meditating and doing some stuff. Yeah, he needs to work on that. Yeah. Yeah, well, we need that kind of training because yeah, everybody has that. So many people have these things. Yeah, addictions can be from mental and emotional blocks also, yeah. Yeah, you gotta get the block breaking. You gotta get to block breaking, find out what blockage is causing that. That's why they do acupuncture too, is to unblock your meridians. That's what the whole purpose of that is. If you have a blockage, you're gonna have pain. Any kind of blockage. Emotional, physical, whatever. That's what causes pain. And emotional will show up as physical. Yes, it will. Emotional and mental pain can sure show up in the physical. I've seen it so many times. It's absolutely 100% that it works. Mother in love, that's cute. Um, okay, I'm going to do some. Let's see if I can come up with any clearings that help. Oh, yeah, yoga. Any kind of energy. Get some Reiki, get some, do your breath work, do some yoga, do, let's do some. If people are not feeling good, let me help. Okay? Let's do some breathing. But before we do that, before we do all that, let's do our exercises so we can feel better. Okay? Actually, the first one I want to do is relax a minute wherever you are. Feel the edges of your energy, of your being, and expand and uncrimp yourself. If you've got if you're trying to push too much of your being into this little avi, you're going to feel cramped. I know I do. This is what one of my teachers taught me, Rika. Expand yourself. Intentionally expand. And all you have to do is just think about it and just do it. Just like you blink your eyes. You don't think about how to blink your eyes, you just blink your eyes. So just expand yourself. Because a lot of times we're trying to shrink ourselves into a little abbey. We're trying to shrink ourselves instead of expanding. And we're very expansive beings. If you're trying to shrink yourself, you're going to hurt yourself. Right. Breath work. Breath work. Okay. We're going to do some next. Okay. Do your expansion. Expand. Know that you're bigger than your body. You're way bigger. You're way bigger than your normal, what they normally tell you an aura is. Okay. That's just an electrical field. You're way bigger than that. Go ahead and expand. Wow. When I'm doing this, I feel the chills and the tingles. Expand yourself out beyond the room you're in and out beyond the boundaries of your home or wherever building you're in. Expand yourself out beyond even the boundaries of your state. Expand even farther out beyond Earth, out beyond the solar system, and out beyond that, as far beyond that as you want to expand yourself, because you can do that. And relax. Make sure that you have all the crinkles and wrinkles out, that you've tried to press yourself into a certain shape and it doesn't work. And then gently push all your chakras to the back of your spine and snap them on your spine. That's also something that happens like blinking your eye. You just do that. You just think, okay, I'm doing this. You can actually literally align your own chakras. Okay. Those two things should help, should begin to help you. See, Linda takes off. If she was doing these exercises, she wouldn't be having the migraine, but hey, probably, but I understand though. I sometimes have to just get horizontal or it just doesn't work. Yeah, it is very possible. Let's do it. I'll do that. I'll go through that right here on the show again. I do this often on the show. Let's start with the ohms. Take some nice deep breaths. And be sure to fill yourself entirely and breathe all the way out. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Do that a few times. It'll start to relax your body. Okay. Breathe out a little bit longer than you breathed in. That. That activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Now touch your heart with one hand and your navel with the other. Down here by your navel, just above your navel. And do the breathing again. Okay, I'm going to count. Let's do the breath work. I'm going to count. Put one hand on your heart this time, and the other hand, I put my left down by my gut. We're doing actually what we're going to be talking more about on Sunday. Okay, this is coherence. We're doing quantum breathing for coherence. Okay. Okay, we're going to do in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 6. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One hand on your heart, one hand right above your navel. where your gut is. Okay, ready? And I can't do it exactly the same way with you because I'm going to be counting for you. So let's go in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you do that, if you start panicking, start hurting somewhere, start feeling bad, and you do that, you're going to feel different. You're going to feel better. That's one of the ways you can get out of these things. And I've had to do this a lot because I have had, I don't right now, not this minute, but I have had all kinds of horrendous pain that I've been in. Really bad. I mean, everything from not having any pills to take for a torn rotator cuff, no meds. I used herbs for that. That's some freaking pain there. Fibro, had it. Broken limbs, yeah. Migraines, got rid of them. I haven't had one. I don't think I've had one in the last year or two, maybe more. I don't remember when the last migraine was. Mm-hmm. My email address is oceandiana@gmail.com. Ocean, like the water, and Diana, like the goddess, at gmail.com. Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's nearly 2.5 hours. God, I feel a lot better after that exercise. I don't know about y'all, but if you did that, you should be feeling a lot better. I feel great now. Ah, yeah. Now you can, relax and rest. Just relax. Let yourself uncrimp, okay? That's what it feels like to me. It feels like just letting myself be whatever size I am and not trying to push myself into a human shape, into a human Abby. These Abbies are an interface, they're not us. So let yourself be what you are. Quit trying to constrict yourself and shrink yourself down. That's my advice. Yeah. Well, people have asked me to do these things because it puts them in a good state for sleep. This is a good time to just drift off to sleep, listening to most of my streams. At the end, that's why at the end I do these things, is so you can just kind of relax and drift off into a nice rest. Mm-hmm. So take care, lady, and take care, everybody, and remember your breathing that I taught you. It can help you. I'm not kidding. These exercises are very simple to do. All the exercises I show you are able to be done by almost everybody. They're spiritual exercises. Anybody with any imagination can do them. And they help a lot. So I'm not even kidding. Okay. Now, wow. I have a feeling I'm going to dream pretty wild. Okay, don't forget that you're divine. I hope that you all remember who you are. And I hope that you all find your purpose, because when you do, finally, well, it'll be a special feeling. Tell people you love them. I love you guys. And thank you for coming to my channel and spending time here. Thank you for being yourself, because nobody else can be you quite like you. You came here for a reason. I hope you all embrace the reason you came, because we need you. Okay. May all your blockages be broken, and may all your pains be eased. As I say it, so it is. As I speak it, so it is. So be it. I'll do a little Reiki send out for everybody before I go completely to sleep. So be willing to catch it, and you'll catch some. And remember, the truth is where you find it. I hope you're always finding some here. Love you very much, and I'll see you Sunday, when we'll be discussing some other interesting stuff. doing some more of these kind of exercises at the end. Take care, y'all.